Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing on? Is the audio good? Nah, this thumbnail isn't sus. You are wildin'. This thumbnail is a work of art, like all of my thumbnails. What's up, Zora? Hunter. What's up, Gavin? All the peeps, all the families out there, starving for Drit's content, aka no one. Certified Brago lover. That's what it is. The number one track. Number one track is Boys Want Boys. I even have the first 3 lines of the song written. What's up, East Blue? Ooh, Billy Brob. Is this gonna be on Dressrosa? I might have to ask Brago for a little bit of spice. Maybe it would be hilarious if I asked Brago to do a little bit for the script. What's up, Slappin'? How's everyone been so far? My week's been alright. Filled with a little bit of complications. Worked 6 days, and I'm going back to work again tonight. But it is what it is. Unless I got another rap. I'll probably remix the changes, the Tupac changes. If you guys remember from a few streams back when I did that, I'll probably remix that for the ending song. So far as it stands, there are planned 2 raps for the video. One of which I will not reveal, but I've already said that did the changes one. Hey, Vulture. Bobbin. Oh, Sen-son. Yo, Sen, I saw you hyping up Penis Man. You need to stop that. That's crazy. Oh, I don't know how long this stream's going to be. It's probably not going to be too long. What am I talking about? Oh, whatever. I'll probably talk a little about the chapter. I haven't read it, but I know what happens. But yeah, I mean, this is a chapter where you just say, hi, what's up? How's it going for everyone? Not going to be a whole lot of special events. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Anything can happen. Who's winning the battle of the garbage dump, Baby Tama or Baby Yamato? So far, I mean, it would have to be like an easy win for Baby Tama. There was at least some writing that made sense for Baby Tama. How often do I cry when writing my scripts? Never. I've never cried writing a script. Ever. Now, if it was the right material, maybe, like if it was like a Berserk script, I might cry or something, but Need you to leak Dressrosa for the streets. The screets? Listen, I might have to ask Braco for a completely new track. It's One Punch Man, but wild. Why did Ishida make that? Will I split up part 1? 5-6 hours is a lot. Well, it's already split up because that's part 1, Gavin. I can't really split it up any more than that. If I do, it's kind of, things will be lost in the sauce. And I don't want that to happen because the entire point of part 1 is to kind of go over everything and then give you an example of like what I'm saying and how it applies to like the story and the post time skip. So I kind of need everything to be together for part 1. I can't separate it. So part 1 is a combination of everything that I want to say and then going over the first 3 arcs of the post time skip. What's up, Grammy? Could I do a Golden Kamui live reaction? Probably not, no. How far am I into recording? Well, originally I was around 2 hours into recording, but actually this is one of the good things about recording because it's letting me see things that I couldn't see simply by reading the script. I've had to go back and delete the last hour of recording because when I went back over it to listen to it again, I noticed that some things were a bit off with like how the points connected, so I went back and rewrote them. So I needed to record the last hour and then continue from there. Baby Yamato was cute. I wouldn't know. Didn't read the chapter. Did to read the new Ace chapter was 10 out of 10. Oh, is that the Boichi one? Oh, Clans Jr. What's up, man? Can I explain why people continue to gas Yamato? She sucks and people somehow think she's good? Well, I don't think there's actually a whole lot to it that you wouldn't be able to think of because, I mean, a lot of it is very self-explanatory with Yamato. It's not a matter of whether Yamato is a good character. Oda is just simply filling the markers for what casuals think is good. He did the same thing with Katakuri and he did the same thing with Odin. Oda is basically pulling a Patrick Beverly. He's tricking y'all, man. He is using a few aspects to make characters seem like they're good, but the writing behind them is bad. And Yamato just uses a couple different variations of this that wouldn't exist otherwise with people like Katakuri and Odin, which was the fact that she's a girl and has boobs. And that has already fooled around 65 to 75% of the fandom. Do I think Yamato is too strong for the crew? Is that still a valid one? I mean, it's kind of weird looking at it because to a certain degree, I think you can make this argument that Yamato's too strong, but like when you're thinking about Yamato being too strong, what is her strength needed for? One of the things that's kind of weird about adding crewmates so late into the game, because I don't know if you guys saw, but Oda had yet another interview where he was like, not, I don't know what you would say for like doubling down 13 times, but Oda has basically said for like the 14th time in the past like 3 years, that One Piece is entering its final saga and then it's almost over. What utility would Yamato have serving on the crew when the story is basically already over? What role does she serve? Like, what characters do we need Yamato on the crew for in order to overcome? And the answer is basically none that you could think of without Oda having to basically create those characters. So Yamato's strength as a factor, like, it's not needed as far as I can see. Like, there's no need for the strength because there's already other strong characters, and these other strong characters themselves already struggle to fight strong characters themselves. So the strength argument's kind of weird. Like, and that's basically the only thing Yamato has going for her, is strength. So it's weird. I view the strength as almost a non-factor in terms of an overall positive for the crew. And another thing, because I mean, like I said, the story's almost over. Adding new Straw Hats in is it's kind of like when Oda added in Brook at the end of the pre-time skip. Brook had like a good character arc and Thriller Bark, but Brook's usefulness in the pre-time skip was only in that arc, and he was added in like in the time of the story. He was added in about like 2 days before the crew got separated and the time skip happened. So it's like, it's a bit awkward. The same with Jinbei. Jinbei was added in very, very late into the game, so his utility is not going to be that much. We'll see. How is it seeing Zoro become what you feared? Well, I mean, Zoro's been trash for a long time. But I can't make conclusions just yet on the Zoro stuff. I think there are some conflicting aspects to what I fear Zoro could become versus what he's actually doing. I have to see where Oda's going to go with all this stuff. I said before in one of Silver's streams that I did last week, the concept of what Oda might be going for with Zoro isn't inherently bad by itself, but if you stack it up with other things going on in the story, it is a bit underwhelming. Do I like the Beatles? Yeah, who doesn't like the Beatles, man? Ooh, Gram Ring. Do I watch college football? No, I actually hate college sports in general. I think they're basically unwatchable for me. As someone who enjoys the professional sports, I think the differences between the level of skill and watchability between the sports make college football impossible to watch. People say that she'll be the log keeper, but she wasn't there for 90% of the journey, so that doesn't even make sense. Exactly. At least with Odin was on the final voyage. So Odin had the ability to see the entirety of a final voyage with Roger, which spanned a lot of time and covered a lot of land. So the journal actually makes sense. You can't make that argument with Yamato. Am I excited for Kuzan? Eh. Eh. Confirmed Judge over Zoro's dad. Judge fought Sanji. Lol. Big Mom and Snack in 24 hours. Zoro's dad 3v1 Kaido and probably got clapped up. I mean, I really don't care. To be honest. I mean, Judge sucks dick too. But comparing them is kind of weird because there's really nothing to compare. At least Judge was supposed to be a more relevant portion of the plot. Zoro's dad so far just seems to be just some dude. Yo, what's up, dentist? Work on the video has been going fairly well. 10 R's from Felipe. Yo, Dritz, can you expand on why you haven't reading the chapters? I find it interesting because I also stopped reading like 4 to 5 chapters ago. I just read the spoilers, just don't feel like it, not sure why though. I mean, I'm basically the same way. I just read the spoilers. I mean, the main reason is I just don't care right now. Like, I read the spoilers, I see that nothing's happening, and I just keep it pushing. Right now, I'm more focusing on the video than I care about reading the story of One Piece. That's just how it is. Like, I'm not like you. I've been saying this for the longest time. I'm not emotionally invested in the story as it stands. So like me reading the chapters, like I'm not really a part of the discussion of the community. I'm not joining streams. I'm not making videos. I'm not talking about it on Twitter. So like what's the incentive for me to read the chapter? I mean, very little. Outside of doing these streams, I don't really have a whole lot of incentive. I can, if I find something that might be interesting to read, I mean, I'm gonna read it all anyway whenever I go through the reread of Wano for the script. So, thoughts on Kaido this chapter? Um, well, the spoilers didn't really say a whole lot, so I don't know if I can comment on anything. Maybe I'll read the chapter on stream. Who knows? If there is demand for it. Have I been enjoying Sanji in the past few chapters? No, never. Do I think the Lakers should be the favorites to win the chip now? No, I do not. I think that they are a great team, but I would not have them as my favorites. I want the Lakers to win too, so like, I don't think they're a favorite to win. They have a lot of talent on the team, but talent isn't everything. You have to kind of see how things play out. Also, I think it's been more of an issue these past 3 years than it's ever been. Is that health in the league is a big concern. So I can't guarantee, like before, whenever Braun was healthier, I could guarantee that he would be healthy and 100% for the playoffs. That's probably one of the biggest changes with LeBron in the past few years, is that I can no longer guarantee LeBron's health because he's been injured consistently. And that's not a good thing, right? As you get older, the chances of you aging, or the chances of you getting hurt are higher. And, LeBron is a normal person despite his health. Also, thanks for the $1.49, G. I appreciate it. Love you. I think Oda will continue the silly trend of revealing information about the Straw Hat members' backgrounds. Oh, is this tying into like Zoro's lineage, Sanji's lineage, and stuff like that? It's possible, yeah. I mean, it's a trend at this point, and if Oda goes the full distance with Zoro, then he might do it with a little bit of with a couple other people. The only issue with that is heading into the future of the story. There's not really a whole lot of arcs that Oda can really do that with. Well, we have Elbaf, and then like the story's basically over. No, I don't think the manuscript's dropped. Yo, Naya, that's right. No, you ain't playing Naya. I know that's not. Mm. I know you rocking into that Donda right now, Naya. Do I prefer Ace or Zuko? Zuko easily. Zuko is a significantly better character than Ace, and Ace could only wish to be as good of a character as Zuko is. It's not even close. Do I expect the scripts to be good in terms of views or not? No. I was actually messaging Cross Counter, who's in chat, I think still in chat, about what my expectations for the video are. I even comment on this in the script. I don't expect my big video to pass 5,000 views. Have I watched any videos on Naruto? Just curious. Any like what, like essays and stuff? I've watched one. Denzel Young just came to comment on this thumbnail. It's a fire thumbnail. I know. Give me money. Donate. DJ about to sign up with them. DJ sucks. Like I was talking to Glam about this in voice chat the other day. Like, whatever. DeAndre joining doesn't mean anything. I don't think it makes them better or worse. He's just a body at this point. Like, he is so washed that it doesn't matter. Because I love the fact that you are nearly finished with the video, but how could you hold up your motivation on working on it when you aren't emotionally connected with One Piece anymore? Well, I mean, there's kind of a difference. I'm not emotionally connected with One Piece now, but I'm emotionally connected to One Piece in the past. So it's kind of like, I mean, I have motivation. It comes from multiple places. Part of it is, me being a content creator, me saying that I've been doing this, so I'm kind of like dedicated to doing it. But a big part of it is that somewhere deep down inside the darkness of my soul, I love One Piece a lot, and I'm doing this as a work of passion. I hate what One Piece is now, which makes my love for it in the past feel a lot stronger. So that's kind of where the motivation comes from. Oh, Naya said, I'm not a fan of Zoro being related to Ryuma. I think him being a nobody from East Blue is more interesting. I agree, Naya. And also, I would say that I think everyone outside of like Silvers from Twitter and all of these Zoro suckers should agree with the fact that Zoro's ambition is a lot better if he's not related to Ryuma. I don't think I can name a single person that wouldn't agree with that. It romanticizes his dream a lot more if he's just some guy aiming for the top and he's doing everything and he's got no connections. Sort of like Guts in a way. Now, which is why I said that I don't think the idea of Zoro being related to Ryuma is inherently bad, but I don't like the way that Oda has already gone about making connections with it, because it seems more obvious now than ever that with Oda trying to hammer in destiny and things of that nature, he's going to be running across a very slippery rope between predestined and all of that stuff, which is not a path I think that most authors should go by, especially when it relates to dreams and stuff like that. Whenever you make everyone the destined everything or have super special connections, it kind of breaks the tie between romanticizing what they're after. So we'll see. Oda still has to go through with it, but I don't think signs are pointing in a very good direction. Do I think we are getting Elbaf? I think we'll get Elbaf in some way, shape, or form. I don't think it's going to be a long arc or anything. There's just the Fire Nation characters carrying Avatar. No, I mean most of the characters in Avatar are great. Toph, Katara, Sokka, Aang. Aang's one of the best examples for Destiny characters. Dritz, do you think Kaido is the strongest in the One Piece verse, even though he's not going to be a part of the endgame? Probably no. I don't really care what the story says. I have a very hard time believing that Kaido right now is the strongest person in the entirety of the story of One Piece. I think that's kind of setting up a weird expectation moving into the future, because you have people like Blackbeard coming up, and you have what the endgame villain is going to be. It'd be kind of against shonen, just shonen in general, to have the strongest character fall here. It's possible. I don't think it would make the story better or worse if that was the case. I just have a hard time believing it. Oh, five R's from Felipe. Started reading The Way of Kings. I'm aware that there are lots of POVs, but is there a point where the story locks in a character for a longer period of time? Or, I mean, the most of Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight books are locked onto 3 character POVs. Those are the main characters for each book. You'll go for longer periods sometimes, but it's normally split apart. Donda clearly over CLB. I mean, I can't comment on that. I'll just say I tried listening to Donda, but I couldn't get past the first 5 tracks. But I've listened to CLB like 3 times so far. In terms of actually enjoying and listening to them, so far I would have to put CLB over it. Content's a different issue, though. What character do you hope Oda doesn't fuck up, Dritz? Well, I don't want him to fuck up any character, but I know he will. So, Dritz, is Zoro and Sanji a good duo or are they mid? I don't know. Like, I don't know how you could call them a good duo. Are they even a duo? I don't know. I at most they're mid. They had, I mean, their best moment as a duo is obviously Thriller Bark. But you know, one of the issues with them being a duo is that Zoro and Sanji have next to no good character interactions or good moments in the series. Like Thriller Bark is the mainstay of their connection. That's one of my favorite scenes in the entire story, even though it includes Sanji. But the fact that they don't really have good character ties to each other kind of makes them invalid in terms of being a duo, in my mind. Not a lot of good moments between the two that aren't just meathead battle poses. Just do you think a reread could change your mind about Wano? It could change my mind in the sense that it'll be worse than I already think it is. But no, I mean, like, I've already reread certain portions of the arc back whenever I was doing, like, chapter reviews on stuff. I don't think there's anything that could change my mind because I don't think I'm wrong. Now, maybe I am, but I've pointed out inconsistencies and bad things throughout the entirety of the arc's runtime, and none of that's really changed. So I don't think there's anything that could really change my mind about it. I think that when people, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but I'm going to bring this up as a way to transition to a topic. I think when people bring up like this sort of like lackluster defense of if you read the chapter in bulk, if you read the arcs in bulk, all of the issues disappear. I think that's kind of being disingenuous to actually pointing out writing issues. Blaming everything on weekly processes isn't necessarily the right move, in my opinion. Dritz, but what if Zoro doesn't care about his Ryuma connection? What, as far as that just makes it worse. If Zoro doesn't care, like that just makes it worse for me. Dritz, wasn't the point of Zoro that he wasn't talented but trained hard to surpass? What? Okay, no. You're gonna have to explain this to me because I don't think you can even make this argument. The point of Zoro as a character is that he wasn't talented but trained hard. He's not Rock Lee. Zoro wasn't like deficient in some way, shape, or form. Even as a kid, Zoro was beating adults in challenges. He just sucked compared to Kuena. The point of Zoro's character isn't that it's hard work over talent. That is not his character at all. There is nothing in the story to support that. When was the last time they said Kaido was the world's strongest creature? During his introduction. Oh, well, I guess the last time it was alluded to was Big Mom talking about him on Whole Cake Island. Let's see. Naya says, One Piece never presented itself as a story where the main characters were destined for anything, so it's somewhat unfortunate we're here now, but Eastern storytelling loves overconnecting stuff. I 100% agree, Naya. Also, read Kubera. That is on my list of things to read. Kako has been trying to get me to read Kubera for a while, and I've actually already read like the first 50 chapters, but that was like 5 years ago or something. So, it's on my list to read, Naya. I see how much you, Yak, and everyone's been enjoying it, so that's actually made me interested by comparison. So I think Oda is on crack. Have I seen the Blackbird octopus theory? I have not. Although I think the idea, as an idea, I just can't see it happening. Thoughts on the chapter? Yo, what's up, Sin? I actually have not read the chapter. I read the spoilers, and from what I saw in the spoilers, I would have to read the chapter to confirm, but I think there is a disconnect in the writing of Yamato's flashback in order to make it make sense. Everything else is like whatever, though. Do I think Griffith lacks personality, which affects how engaging he is as a character? Lacks personality. That's a new one. No, I don't think he lacks personality. Dritz, what if the ending of Wano was good? Would that change your mind? Let's think about it, Shiro. From my perspective, I think that Wano is the worst arc in the series and is one of the worst things that Oda's ever written. And that's within the first. Well, when did Wano start? 908. We're at 1000. What was the last 1024? Is that it? So we're like 116 chapters into the arc. If the last 15 chapters of the arc are good, does that discount everything that came before it? No. I mean, like it's better than it being bad for sure, but that doesn't really change the outcome in my mind. Right? I mean, like that's not how things work. I hope that it does end well. I actually expect at least the epilogue of Wano to be good because the epilogue is rarely tied to the actions that lead to the ending of the arc. It's usually the spoils afterwards, and Oda almost always hits with those. Dritz, any thoughts on Sanji's development? Development? You have to explain that to me. Dritz, do you consider Luffy, Zoro, and Nami to be bad characters overall now? Yes. What overall? I mean, in the post time skip, yes, they're bad characters. Overall, it's kind of hard because I think they were pretty solid in the pre time skip. I guess they're just meh now to me. Blah 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 blah. Thoughts on the possibility of Ushimaru being Green Bull? Well, I mean, he's supposed to be dead, so if he's a Green Bull, then he must have a zombie fruit. But I mean, it in an alternate reality where he was, I don't know if that change. I don't know if I care. Like that'd be a neat twist, I suppose. But you know, it's hard to say anything about it. Like, where would I go from there? I would have to see how Oda incorporates that into the story. You know. Dritswana was not worse than Dressrosa. It is significantly. Dressrosa is the best arc in the post time skip to me. And I think Wano is by like I mean I've been over this numerous times before. I think it's one of the worst arcs I've ever had to read ever. Did I see the One Piece live action character descriptions and logos? I saw the logo. That logo looks awful, but I hadn't seen the character descriptions. Only Hawkins can save us. Isn't it ironic, Naya, that me, you, and Glam both loved Hawkins, and now look where he is now? The irony. Nami's still good. Glam, I would have to disagree. I think Nami is bad. I think Nami's. I used to think that Nami was good in the post time skip, but she's ass. Who's a well-written post-time skip character in your opinion? Dofi for the most part, Fujitora. For what he's good for, I mean, Fisher Tiger, Otohime. I think Virgo's great. I think he served his role really well. I think Jack was great in Zoe. That's it. Core Zone for the most part is great. There's an inconsistency or like an aspect of his writing that's missing, but he's still great in spite of that. Senor Pink is cool. Like Senor Pink. Kuzan is still cool. Just do you think it's necessary to learn about Nami's origins before she ended up with Bellamere? Is it necessary? No. I don't think it's necessary. Is it an Easter egg that could matter if Oda wanted it to be? If Oda wanted it, yeah. But as it stands right now, there is nothing in the story to suggest that Nami's origin matters whatsoever. So if there's no story element to One Piece that's suggesting it's important, then it's hard to say that it's necessary. Have I basically dropped One Piece at this point? I mean, it's getting very close, for sure. I mean, like, I'm still going to be in the community and around. Things might change whenever I make the video, but, you know, it's only a matter of time probably at this point. What was the last thing you really liked in One Piece? Chapter 957. Wano is worse than the Fullbring arc or the Great Ninja War arc for you, Dritz. I mean, I can't comment on the Fullbring arc because it's been like, I don't know, a very long time since I read it, so I can't even remember the plot elements that came with Fullbring. The only thing I remember from Fullbring is that I didn't mind it. Fourth Great Ninja War is kind of like a different beast because I think that Wano in some aspects is way worse than the Fourth Great Ninja War, and then in other aspects, the Fourth Great Ninja War is worse than Wano. The thing that kind of separates the Fourth Great Ninja War from everything else is that it is the final arc in the conclusion to Naruto, outside of the last section, which is actually good between Naruto and Sasuke. That's actually really, really good. But the arc as a whole, you know, it's a completely different beast because you're comparing the end of a series to what isn't the end of the series. Wano is probably the worst arc that I've read that isn't the end of a story. I mistakenly used good in that sentence, Dritz. I meant fine or I. Let me see. Anyone in Whole Cake Island or Wano? Any good characters in Wano or Whole Cake Island? Wano. I mean, Whole Cake Island. Let's think. Whole Cake Island. Any good characters? No. I don't think there's any good characters. Like there are people that are just kind of there, like Capone, but I don't think there's any good characters. No. Wano, hell no. Is Yamato gonna get weaker when she joins the crew, or is Oda just gonna make Zoro and Sanji OP? Oda's just going to make Zoro and Sanji OP if Yamato were to join the crew. For me, it's not a foregone conclusion yet. But chances, yeah, he's not going to disrupt the balance, I don't think. Dritz, do you think Kaido could become well written with his backstory, or is it not possible? Eh. It's kind of weird because Kaido already has, in my mind, unless Oda, like, there's something there that Oda's just going to fix. I think there are already pretty big issues with Kaido's involvement with Odin. I think Oda completely fucked all of that shit up. I don't know what a backstory is going to fix for Kaido outside of just, say he had like a bad upbringing. But it's possible he could become well written. I mean, Kaido's been a mixture of success and failure in my mind. I think there are aspects to Kaido that are enjoyable, but the enjoyable aspects to Kaido are kind of sullied by how everyone else is around Kaido. So, it's a bit give and take with him. I don't think he's a complete success as a villain, and I don't think he's a failure yet. I was referring to Sonny's lineage. Wait, what are you talking about? Only Dritz would drop One Piece at its peak. you think this is One Piece's peak? It's never been as good as it is now. I mean, hey, that's your opinion, man. That's fine. Just if you post a video and start going viral, trending everywhere, what's your next move? I mean, probably nothing. Can you understand why people like Wano, or is it bizarre to you when people call Wano the best arc? Can I understand? Yes, because I know how the casual mindset works. People aren't looking at writing. They aren't looking at what's actually happening. All they're doing is feeling. That's how it is most of the time with most mediums. You feel things. You don't think first. Do you think less of One Piece as a whole because of the post time skip? Well, yeah, inevitably. If I'm getting to the point where I'm going to consider dropping it, then there's no doubt that the post time skip has affected the way that I think of the story, right? I mean, that's just a matter of just conclusion. What is my favorite flashback? My favorite flashback is probably Robin's and then Nami's. Let me see. Scrolling down through the comments, blah, blah, blah. Thoughts on King? Thoughts on King from King the Wildfire. Yo. I'm sorry, that's just funny to me. King? I mean, is there really a whole lot to say about King? I mean, King's outside of the way that Oda has been structuring the raid, which has made King look kind of stupid. Like King as a character, there's really not a whole lot negative to say about him. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I can't really say. It's just, I think King suffers as a result of the structuring of how the fights have been going in Onigashima, which have King like either being nowhere to be found, off screen for dozens of chapters at a time, and just like staring at people. Um, I mean, his most spoken dialogue is dot dot dot. I mean, what I can't really judge him a whole lot based off of that, right? $5 from Light Skin, my boy Light Skin. Shout outs. Sorry if you spoke on this before, but could you explain what about Wano story wise is bad in your perspective from the beginning? From the beginning. Oh my gosh, that's a long answer, Light Skin. I'm going to thing is I want to wait to explain everything, but I'll give you like a TLDR of why Wano is like the worst. Things matter the more that they're supposed to be important. That's why if you like fuck up things that are like not that big of a deal, it's still an issue, but it's not as bad as fucking up like the ending of a story. Like think Game of Thrones seasons 7 and 8. Those seasons matter a lot more because that was the conclusion of the story. Wano is the build up and the entire purpose of the post time skip right now. All of the arcs in the post time skip are leading to Wano. Wano is theoretically the most important arc that we've been in like the past however long since the Summit War. There's a lot of things that are riding on this arc, a lot of build up, a lot of things that came before it, and I think it's failing on virtually every level, which makes its failures more important. When do I think One Piece peaked? Between Enies Lobby and the Summit War. Urashima was a great character in 100s. Yo, that neck was a great character. Let me see. Still working on that kind of video? Hell no. Hell no. Who's a better character, Vivi or Hiyori? Vivi, what? Hiyori? Hiyori? Make sure I hire a Japanese translator for subs. I hire? I don't know about that, Playboy. That's a long ass video. I don't know if I got that kind of bread on me. Jits, why do my comments never show up on my other account? I comment when I see the video comment section and I never show up. Did I get shadow banned from the chat? I don't think so, Edgar. I don't think so. I haven't done anything. Dude, I hate when I'm scrolling and then it automatically goes to the beginning. What the hell is going on? Dritz, do you think the first scene of Berserk is an inconsistency for Guts? An inconsistency? No. I do think that the Black Swordsman arc does introduce an issue with Guts' character in the totality of the series, but it's something I'm willing to look past considering the quality of it. Yeah, it's a criticism I would have. I think there's something within the Black Swords and that Miura went back and added in, despite that character issue being resolved in the Golden Age. I think he brought it back just to make the audience intrigued. But it makes sense because Miura hadn't thought past the Black Swordsman arc when he was writing it. So it makes sense. But overall, it creates a consistency. And the inconsistency that I'm talking about is when Guts mentions numerous times in the Black Swordsman arc, don't touch me. That character issue was resolved in the Golden Age. And there was no regression shown. It's fair. I don't know if this is a question or a statement. It's fair to give Wano a lower rating because of the flying six fights and how terrible they were. Um, I mean that's certainly a factor. I wouldn't let that be the end all be all. I mean, it depends because that's like the only time we've seen the Straw Hats really do anything for a long time, and Oda kind of fumbled with that. But yeah. What are my hopes for the Crimson Canine? Akainu. Um, like I've talked about this before. I think like several times. My expectations for Akainu, despite being an Akainu fanboy, aren't really high. Like I've talked to people, I don't expect Akainu to be one of the best villains in the series. Is what I'm trying to get at. I think Akainu will be great. I don't think he's going to be one of the best villains though. I don't know if he has that potential. Oda would have to do a fair amount of work with him, and that's kind of relying on Dragon. And Dragon's stock is looking down at this point in time, but we'll have to see. But I think Big Mom is going to betray Kaido. It could happen. I mean, it's been a topic of discussion for like years at this point. I don't see a plot point trending necessarily in that direction, but could Oda bring it up? Sure, he could. I mean, Big Mom's still interested in the poneglyphs. Is that enough? I don't know. Dritz, do you hope Elbath is just filled with character interactions like earlier One Piece arcs with a little bit of conflict? I mean, I don't really have hope, so it's kind of weird to say that. Yeah, I mean, it's it's weird to say it, but it's like there are a lot of things that can make Elbath good. I don't think it's gonna happen, just based off what we've been getting for the past decade. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see Straw Hat interactions for sure, but that's just not where the story's trending. So it's kind of we can't expect that. Let me see. Oh, I'm catching up to the chat. Holy shit. Have you given your thoughts on the recent chapter? No. I've only read the spoilers. I think I said before I could read the chapter on stream if people want, and then we can go over it. But is Volume 100 titled Conqueror's Hockey? Titled. Do the volumes have titles? Jerts, I recently saw a theory stating that the king's whole persona is based off of him being tortured and experimented on by the world government as Lunarian. How to release him during his own escape thoughts. I mean, there's basically been things similar. I've seen similar theories, not based on Lunarians, because we didn't know what he was. But I've seen similar theories, like Kaido got King out of Impel Down. King was a ward, and blah blah blah, likes torture, this, that, and the other. Um, but King's whole persona being tortured and experimented on, it's possible. It's maybe why he wears the Gimp outfit. Um, it could be the case. Could be the case. Who do I like more, Fujitora or Smoker? For me, easily, I like Smoker more than Fujitora. And the reason why I like Smoker more than Fujitora is that I really enjoyed Smoker's dynamic with Luffy and the Straw Hats overall within the pre-time skip. For me, that's kind of one of the things that attracts me to characters is like what character dynamics do X characters have with other characters and how well does that tie into the story. I think that Alabasta has like obviously like the best moments for Smoker, especially when it comes to Luffy. There's moments I'll never be able to forget, which make me like Smoker a lot more. Fujitora is a great character in of himself, but I much prefer the Smoker dynamic. Do you still enjoy being in streams like the top 30, or you just do them out of generosity? I mean, it's kind of like tradition. I like whenever I go into the top 30 streams now, I'm not doing it to try and make a point. I'm just kind of there to have fun and vibe with the boys. So like, I'll pretend I'll play a game of make believe and just vibe. I'm not there to cause any drama. I'm just there to fuck around and have fun. It's nothing deeper than that, man. That is tradition. That's family night. That's like playing Risk with your mom and dad. Dritz, I agree with almost all of your thoughts about One Piece, but I feel like if we become too critical about a story, we start hating it. I don't think authors can avoid doing these mistakes. No matter how good a story is, as an example, my favorite story being Berserk, authors are going to fuck up. I have dozens of criticisms about Berserk. There is no story that's perfect. I even have a section in my script talking about this. No one can be perfect. That's why people try to be perfect. It's because it's an impossible feat. It's like the Jesus persona, right? The perfect, quote unquote, perfect human being. That's true. One Piece was never perfect. Even in the pre-time skip, there are dozens of issues I could point out to, or things that I think were not that great. That's not really the point. The dividing line is between when a series you consider to be great, despite all of its flaws, becomes like you can't hold it to that standard anymore. That's when things change. If you're critical about a story and then it stops delivering the things that it used to deliver, and all you see are like the negative receipts, then you have to comment on it. And yes, the more you are invested in something and the more it hurts you, the more you are going to start hating it. That's just the way things go. That's how human beings are. You have to try and separate the bias from, just being objective, or the attempt at being objective. Authors, there's a reason why authors are supposed to have editors and are supposed to have other people to try and keep them in track. When authors lose their track, people are supposed to try and help them get back on track. And it's just the case with most series is that the longer they run on, the worse they get. You have to keep things a buck. Oda could have avoided many of the things that he ran into, but he didn't. So, there you go. Oh, yo, I see Cliff in the chat. What's up, Cliff? When you finish your video, will you invite anyone to challenge your views, or are you not interested in having anyone challenge your points? If you decide to have one, you enjoy Boy would be a great one. If people want to talk to me, they can talk to me. Like if I would, the only other time I would have another neck to neck is if people wanted to talk to me about like my views on the story or something like that. That's fine. I'm assuming that the most devout of One Piece fanboys will have a lot to say. And that's what I want, basically. That's fine. I have no issue with that. Now, I've already had personal conversations with Joy Boy on this, so I feel like they'll probably end up going down the same route, but I welcome it nonetheless. But as Glam said a few comments down, Cliff, this is going to be a video series, so ideally, I don't want to engage in in-depth conversation before the full thing can be seen, because then like my point won't get across as fully. Dritz, because of the latest chapters, I'm starting to think Oda is going to give Conquerors to Sanji at some point, but I just feel there's zero foreshadowing, no build-up for him to have it. You think that these chapters are foreshadowing Sanji getting at some point? I mean, at this point, it could happen, whatever. It just depends on how you view Conquerors Haki. Conquerors Haki has always been in this kind of weird twilight zone of, oh, that's supposed to be cool, but it doesn't matter. And now we have Conquerors Plus Plus, which is the Conquerors coding, so it matters in combat now. It's kind of more of a fashion statement, like a bounty. I mean, he might do it. I mean, Usopp seems to be probably going to be getting it, stuff like that. So, but there's at least foreshadowing for that. I don't really know if I'd go as far as to say that Conquerors for Sanji is where the story's going. Grammy says, "I wish Dritz would be more serious in BDA streams, but I know deep down that he will never become. He never will be because Dritz cares for his friends, and that makes him a good person. I'm fine with it. Yo, I'm a good person. Let's go. Reputation increased, but I mean, I've talked about this before, Grammy. Like, this is the same thing that happens every year in Reveries, or like anytime there is a chapter and I joined a discussion. People want Dritz from Whole Cake Island to show up to start just yelling at everything and complaining. But I'm basically past that now. It's not conducive for good streams. And it's gotten a bit old at this point. It's not what I'm looking to do. Has Morge ever changed your mind on anything One Piece related while you've talked to each other? Yeah. Yeah, yes. And me, him. Me and Morge talk fairly frequently, so that's why we get along, is we're able to talk to each other like that. Me and Ty should make a collab channel. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. What are all the levels of stories that you look at? You will find out when I finish the video, because there is a full section breakdown on one of the things I look at when it comes to stories. Also talking about One Piece is tiring. Yeah, I mean, there's part of that, but you know, at this point, when it comes to like whenever I talk about chapters, like, you know, there's only, it's kind of like sports talk shows or just anything in general. You know, there's a certain point where you basically talk about all of the fundamentals of why things are wrong, and all you have to do is point it out every time that it happens. And that's kind of the point that it's gotten to with like the chapters. Like, there's nothing groundbreaking that's happening. The only new thing that could happen is like the Destiny stuff. But, you know, much of it is like the same old, because that's how things are in life. Oh, Sage. What's up, Sage? Drit's feelings on Yamato. A tee-hee. I hate Yamato. I find Yamato's... This is one of the things that I think Oda does, which greatly hurts the characters that he tries to write, is that he fucks around with them instead of giving them depth or character interactions. And I think it greatly hurts any chance of people liking that character. Now, people like Yamato, but for me, the fact that there are more fuck off moments with Yamato just saying the same line of dialogue over and over again is more of a detriment to a character than a positive. And I'll explain that in more detail in a bit, but it is that time, boys. It is time to take a huge shit. And I need to find a music video to listen to. Oh, we'll do this. I'll do this. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. I am back. That was my last Agni Kai. Oh, man. With the quickness, you already know. Let's see, where did I leave off? Okay, over here with Sage. Oh, that's right. Feelings on Yamato. Now, I think there are writing issues with Yamato's character. I think that Oda has introduced some of the most annoying character traits that he possibly can with Yamato in the same manner that he did with Pudding during the second half of Whole Cake Island. As a matter of fact, I would compare Pudding to Yamato a lot in the sense that they're kind of like reverses of each other. Where Pudding started off great and then turned to shit. And Yamato might be the reverse of that. We're started off shit and then Oda's attempting to try and make things better by including things, but I don't think he's doing necessarily a great job at doing it. I've said before, I think most people are being fooled into liking Yamato because of superficial elements, not because of good writing. Have I watched Ohara's Best One Piece Theory? I have not. Let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna go and catch up with the chat. Was it a good shit? It came out clean. I'm not gonna lie. It came out clean. It came out in 2 pieces, but they were big pieces, okay? We take this shit in seriously, alright? Grammy says, I can't stand the haters on Twitter who get mad at Dritz for being critical about a story that has obviously gone downhill and him wanting it to be back to where it used to be. Well, as much as I would like to paint myself as an angel, Grammy, there's also the part of this where I'm not. Like, let's not pretend that I don't go out there and antagonize people, all right? I am not trying to be the most, neutral of parties. And when I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to cross any lines. I mean, it's quite obvious that I'm coming from a place of having been disappointed and hurt with One Piece, which makes me angry at it. So there are some people that are rightfully angry at me because I say things that incite rage. So let's not get it twisted. Although there's the opposite as well, where people just get mad at me because I'm being critical. But that's what you expect. That's how things should go in normalcy. When you go against the tide, expect pushback. Christian, that is not true. It takes good writing to generate hype. That is not true whatsoever. It can be the case, but that's not de facto how it goes. If you create hype in a fandom, does that make it good writing? As an example, if people get hype over Kaguya's reveal, is that good writing? No. If you take a general population who are already in love with something and then give them something and they like it, does that make it automatically good? No, that's not how things are weighed in an objective value. Now, it can't be the case that good writing generates hype. It just depends. You have to take on a case-by-case scenario. Let's see, Sage said, I love the idea that Yamato would want to die in glory and have elements of her father, but rather than wanting to be defeated in chaos or become king, you want to serve the king. Or is this a follow-up to another thing? Imagine if Yamato was a different side to the coin, the Kaido, blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about Yamato, Sage? I don't think I've asked you before. How do I feel about Momo aging by 20? To be determined. To be determined. As a principle of an idea, I don't like it because I think it takes away the best aspects of what made Momo an interesting character. And I think it's replacing with things that are significantly worse. Now we'll see where it goes. I don't think Oda did a good job at writing up to the moment where Momo felt like he needed to become 20 years older to do whatever the fuck Momo thinks he needs to do by being 20 years older. I don't think Oda did a proper job at setting that up and making it feel satisfying. I think people just got fooled by the panel of him looking like a dragon and determined that was good sometimes. On an objective scale, Oda did his job. I'm the outlier. I guess I'll just repeat what I've already said, Christian. And maybe you'll talk about it. I don't know. Is that how you're weighing it? Is your is it all hype over substance? Is it all numbers over quality? Quantity over quality? I mean, The Last Jedi did very well in the box office. On an objective level, did they conquer it? Does that make it a good film? Because people went out to see it? I mean, come on, man. How long do I estimate the videos will be when all finished? It's impossible to say. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through Dressrosa, Whole Cake Island, and Wano. So I can't give you a time frame. I can give you a time frame on how long the part one's going to be because I've already said how long it's going to be, most likely. But you know, I can't say the whole thing. It's too hard to say. I haven't written the scripts yet for Dressrosa and onwards. Let's see what. I'm gonna go through the thing. Blah blah blah. Reading through comments. What's my favorite theory in One Piece that you wish could come true? I don't know at this point. I've never I've obviously I used to be Dritz the theorist. But I don't know if there's one theory that I loved over any others. One theory that I wish could come true. I guess one of the theories I wish could come true would be Luffy getting the same disease that Roger got. I think that idea poses a lot of good scenarios when it comes to character dreams, such as Chopper's, but also getting character interaction and drama involved. I think that'd be a good way of getting that in there. So I've always liked that idea. Do I have a date on when the video is coming out, or am I still working on that monster video too? I have not been working on the monster video. Date on when the big video is coming out. If all things go well, hopefully the end of the month. I'm still in the process of recording it because I've had to go back and re-edit the script. Video editing, I don't know how long it's gonna take. It could take a very long time, but Hopefully, end of the month. Don't hold me to it. I'm Oda. I tell you one thing and I mean another. It's really hard. But whenever I feel like I'm getting close, I will probably promote it on the Twitter. Me and Dritz fighting about Monster for real. Fucking love that series. Eventually, when I do the Monster video, Ahmed, I know a lot of people are going to be mad about that because I do not like Monster. Summit War Saga or Chimera Ants? Summit War for me. Did I major in English writing in college? No. It's how much focus will your video series have on the deterioration of the Strats' characters? That's a part of the process, Yak. There is a section which I think will probably be the major talking point of the part one. Glam's responses a bit. I think Glam can kind of I'll let Glam say, but expect it. Thoughts on the pacing of Wano? Awful. Read Kingdom. I've read 460 or so chapters. Oh, Sage followed up and said, I actually like Yamato as a concept, Kaido having a rebel Odin loving child when he's a commander and tyrant. But the execution is a little poor. I don't feel emotional ties and seems to be info dumpy. Fair enough, Sage. I like the concept as well. I do think some things kind of come off a bit weird, such as I don't even know if I could say that Kaido is a commander or a tyrant. Blah 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 blah. Let me see here. Do I like Tokyo Ghoul? I have not read. I used to read Tokyo Ghoul weekly when Re was coming out. Yeah, I did like Tokyo Ghoul. I'm gonna go back and reread it though to see if I still like it. No voice. I'm just not. What? I'm reading comments, Gavin. Gavin, sorry. I'm like going up and down the chat looking at stuff. I agree with Glam, by the way, Christian. I think the stance you're taking is a bit short sighted in what we're actually talking about. Hopefully, Wano might have 10 acts. Please, no. Yo, it's Hassan from Egypt, man. Still got internet. That is absolutely crazy, man. You must be working hard. Wait, what? I'm a fraud. Am I? Do I plan on reading Golden Kamuy? Yeah, I mean, Golden Kamuy's on the list. It's nowhere near the top of mangas that I plan to read, but it's on the list. Like I've said before, I have not been reading mangas because I plan to read mangas and then review them on the channel. But so I've not been reading them until I finish this One Piece shit. Hassan from Egypt, who has internet, says, "Why don't you make live reactions like you used to before Dritz and your opinion on Oda's SPSs?" Well, the live reactions are pretty simple, Hassan. I mean, I don't know how long you've been watching me, but if you were watching me towards the end of when I stopped doing live reactions, I mean, I was very easily, very noticeably not enjoying the chapters. So, like, live reactions are really only conducive if you like have fun doing them, and I was not having fun reading One Piece. So like doing live reactions to chapters wasn't satisfying to me. And that's mainly that's the main reason. If I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to live react to it because I think it kind of lessens the experience of me just monotoning and reading dialogue. You know, like the other week when I read the chapter, like I read the spoilers, but I read the chapter. I just kind of went like blah 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 blah, and that's done. Like if I were to live react to One Piece, that would basically be it now, and that's essentially a waste of time. If there's not going to be any emotion into it, then I don't think it serves a purpose. Because like at least during one of my live reactions, like probably my best live reaction where I was freaking out about Queen, at least during that live reaction, I was animated in how mad and upset I was, but I can't get that mad and upset anymore. Not unless something serious happens. The week to week process, since Wano's already a lost cause to me, and back then it was something that I was trying to like really hope and fight that it would get better. I was invested. Um, but I'm not invested anymore. So most of what I read is not going to impact me emotionally. The Dritz Mugiwara Matt C. Yo, he says Dritz. The difference between you and me is that I don't reread shit. I either like it or don't the first time around. No wishy washy bullshit. I mean, that's how I think most people are. Matt C. I think most people either go if they're not feeling it, they drop it. But which makes sense. For me, it's a bit different because like I guess at this point, it's something that I enjoy doing. I like talking on things on a critical scale. So when I want to have a discussion about something, I want to know what I'm talking about. Like I want to know exactly. I want to understand why I didn't like it. Outside of it just wasn't hitting. You know, I want to know. I want to analyze the story and figure out from my perspective where I think things went wrong or like what didn't work for me. Um, I've said before, but my favorite thing in the world is stories. Um, I love breaking apart stories. I think that's the thing that I enjoy doing the most. I love writing. Um, so like that's why I have the most fun doing, and that's part of the reason why like I just don't drop things right away if I'm looking at it critically. Golden Calmly reminds you of Terry Pratchett or Douglas Adams. Douglas Adams, okay. I've actually not read Terry Pratchett before Seastone, but I have read a bit of Douglas Adams. That's interesting. I mean, I've kind of seen panels here and there between of Golden Calmly. I mean, it looks like it's fine. It looks like a series that I might actually enjoy. Uh, I, so I actually plan on checking it out at some point in time. Maybe I can live react to Braga live reacting since you're his lover. We do go way back. Yeah, I even got some lyrics for Brago here. This is from Girls Want Girls from Certified Lover Boy. Hey, staring. Hey, staring at Braga shorts because they see through. Yeah, talking all the shit that he done be through. He said he gay boy, me too. What do you think? That's pretty fire, right? Terry Pratchett is the god of lore, modern fantasy. Terry Pratchett. I feel like I've heard conflicting things about Terry Pratchett. I haven't read any of his books. So I haven't really read a whole lot of fantasy in general. I've kind of just read the few authors that I grew up with and didn't really go farther than that because like by the time that I got older, I was basically just into video games and not reading. So like the main authors that I've read are R.A. Salvatore, Terry Brooks, and Sanderson. I haven't really read many other people. Have I read Wheel of Time? I have not read Wheel of Time. Thoughts on Chopper getting the Nidai Kitetsu? This might redeem his character. You got to explain that to one. You got to explain that to me, Turbo. I'm not following how that redeems Chopper's character. Let me see here. What do I think about Yamato's gender debate? I think it was Arter and Roger's fault. Their fault. Well, they certainly added onto it. I would say Arter more so than Roger. Well, that's first of all, I think it's hilarious. I've been laughing at it the entire time on the sidelines. Um, but to try to give Arter a bit of credit, I think there are things in the manga that make this debate confusing in and of itself because Oda hasn't dived into Yamato's character at all. So I can't say that the belief is unsubstantiated. I think there are reasons as to why people debated Yamato's gender presented within the manga, and I think there are things that conflict each other. So I don't blame it all on like, you know, SJW activism, blue-haired nerds or whatever. I think the story itself has confused the audience. Shouts to Daniel Green. Yeah. So maybe I'll do like a review of the Wheel of Time series. Maybe Daniel will. What if I didn't like Wheel of Time? That'd be hilarious. Have I read Toriko? I have not read Toriko. Ishmael Gundal says, Dritz, am I wrong to say Nami post time skip is a bad character? I was talking to someone on Twitter. He said I need to analyze Analyze, analyze. I need to analyze a character before judging it. I said you need to let your Nami bias go. I think you're right, Ishmael. I think if you were to look at Nami, and I will say I've been wrong on this myself. I used to say that Nami had it better than Robin during the post time skip, but I've recently, I mean, not recently, but I've changed that opinion. I think that Robin has it better than Nami in the post time skip because what's better, to not have much time in the story at all, or to have time in the story and for everything that you're in to either be bad or the writing to be off? What's worse? And I think the answer is pretty clear. If you're going to give someone attention and it doesn't hit, that's worse. And I think it's as simple as that. I think Nami has been the victim of Oda's change in thought process between the pre-time skip and post-time skip. I think she's been a complete failure with almost no redeeming qualities in the post-time skip. The few situations where Nami could have had good plot lines, they were made moot or redundant, or they didn't mean anything, or Nami's not contributing. So, there we go. What do I think of Totally Not Marked reviews? Yo, thanks for the 279, Mohammed. I have not watched a single one of Totally Not Marked reviews, so I can't comment on them. And this kind of goes back to just I don't watch videos about One Piece in general because I no longer care enough to go ahead and watch those videos. So I haven't watched anyone's videos for a really, really long time. So it's nothing against Mark. It's nothing against anyone else. That's just, I have no interest in it, so I don't do it. Also, what's up, Wally? Ironic that I used to be the #1 Nami defender, Christian, but now you just can't fathom my issues with Nami. We'll go over it. We'll go over it. Is it true that Shanks is a right-wing Republican? Yes, yes it is. Do I think that One Piece has great female characters or female characters that have great personalities? I think that One Piece had great female characters or characters that had personality. Don't really think that's the case anymore. I think that One Piece had characters with great potential. But I mean, if you're looking at if you're looking at female characters in the post time skip, I think you're going to find few and far in between good characters or good moments. For Nami, Robin, or virtually anyone, I think there are a few that stand out outside of Otohime. Do you think that Oda could write a trans character well, given his portrayal of the Okama and women in general in the series? Is he capable? Current Oda, maybe not. But Oda overall, yeah, I mean, I think he's capable of doing it. I think this is one of those things that a lot of authors don't want to go towards because it's controversial. Because the Okama themselves are there's good and bad in there because the Okama are basically portrayed as hideous monsters that literally gave Sanji PTSD. But then you have good characters like Ivankov or Bon Clay. And does Ivankov count as a trans character? What does Bon Clay stand for? Is Bon Clay actually trans? What do we identify Bon Clay as? he believes in the Okama way, but he himself, what is he? I don't know. He's an amazing character, but I don't know. Shiro, you don't have bad English, man. Don't no need to apologize. I'm good enough at English that I can understand shit. If it was bad, I'd comment on it. Is that our neck to neck, Christian? We're gonna have to talk. If you are really adamant on Nami hasn't been bad, then we're gonna have to talk about it. We're gonna have to talk about it because if you're a Nami fan, then what's been happening with Nami in the post time skip is not something you should be a fan of. Yeah, Wallace. I actually dropped to your eternity shortly after the time skip. I was not a fan of how things were going. I might pick it back up to finish to see how it's been going, but I really hated how certain elements of the story went after a certain period of time. Bon Clay's goaded. Bon Clay is one of the best characters in the story. I think Bon Clay's fucking amazing, which is what makes his Oh, I'll talk about it in the video. Sage says female characters are often bland because men don't like to write flawed but morally good women. People get to voice all of the issues with men and redeem them, but women are either angels or devils. Yeah, I mean, it's that. I mean, men, it's the same thing with men and women. I think men are more guilty of this than women writers, but that's because there's just more men writers. I think people are often misconstrue like if a woman was writing it, it'd be better. That's often not the case. I think writing women in general is like an art form in of itself. I think lots of people get it wrong, and they kind of resort to tropisms to make the character quote unquote likable, which is like a detriment to the writing and shows how limited they are. Because women characters are often some of the most controversial characters in writing. You either love them or you hate them, and a lot of the time it's dictated by looks, which is like that's not supposed to be the point. This is not towards Otis; it's towards like everyone. How many arcs does One Piece have left? I want to say 3. No, you're right, Sage. The prison sentences are clear. There's been a bias. How far will Oda hold back about Vegapunk's info dump? I mean, he'll probably hold back things that are just he's not ready for, but I would expect a pretty solid reveals. You know, I don't think he's going to like. I don't think he'll fuck that up. I have not read any of the Ace manga chapters, so I don't have any thoughts. Total. PMS says I forced myself to finish the conviction arc. Didn't like it at all. Should I continue? It depends on you, PMS. Do you feel like reading more? Are you invested in the story? Are there certain things you care about? That's for you to determine. You know, like Berserk's my favorite series, but I'm not going to tell you to read something that you don't like. If it's not hitting for you, then that's okay. Like you don't need to explain more than that. If you like Berserk in the Golden Age, but you didn't like Conviction, read a little bit more and see what you like. Berserk after Conviction takes a very huge swing. in terms of the overall story in the world. So, it's up for you, man. Do what you want. What do I think are the worst writing tropes in general? Oh, the worst. Ultimately, I think the worst writing tropes are the ones that most of the time fail or don't add much to the story. So writing tropes that can be good if written well, but most of the time fail. Love triangles. Love triangles have a tendency to be annoying and not good, but if done well, it can be a great service to the story. In my opinion, I think the perverted character for the sake of introducing fan service is a bad character archetype that minimalizes the character that it's supposed to be. So Sanji, as an example, I think that's a bad character archetype that kind of needs to go away. Or that it shouldn't be placed on characters that are supposed to be important. I'll say that. Let's see. Sage says, unfortunately, women are taught from childhood that they're more valuable, beautiful than smart. That's why I like Boa Hancock as a concept. It's kind of true. A hot girl will always get away with nastiness. Well, I think we kind of see eye to eye on that, Sage. I think Boa, if handled by a different author, could be like one of the best characters in the story. Because I think what Boa represents conceptually as an idea is very, very good. I would have loved to have seen a completely fleshed out character arc and more involvement from Hancock in the story than what we've been getting. Do I think the Golden Age is the best arc in Berserk, or are you on the same boat as Sen and think Conviction and Falcon are better? Well, listen, Sen's tripping for Conviction, but that's his opinion. For me, it's a tie between Falcon and Golden Age. I can't choose one over the other. For me, they're like I don't know. I can't choose. I agree with this, Christian. I think that male tropes end up normally being more positive than female tropes because the female tropes don't put them as in favorable positions as male tropes. Because at least with male tropes, there's a certain aspect of heroism that comes with them. So men often get like the shine in serious situations, where women in most tropes are the opposite. Damsel in distresses and stuff like that, or like if a woman is involved, then you have to have romance, stuff like that. Let's see here. It's annoying if someone says you need to watch One Piece or read better if you say a criticism about One Piece. I mean, that's just how it goes, man. That's just a part of the game. Yeah, it's annoying. You get used to it over time, though. Have I seen Tower of Druaga or read The Villager? I have not. I have not. Shipping and shonen is trash. Shipping. Here's the thing about romance. I cannot stand this. I think shonen is the most guilty genre with this. I fucking hate stories that reduce women to prizes, essentially. Where like all these shonens, they don't have the guts or the courage to actually fucking write a romance. So there's basically nothing for the entirety of the story except one or two moments, and then literally at the end of the story, it's here the hero gets a prize, the woman. I hate it. I hate it. Write the fucking romance, you bums. That perverter type is in a lot of anime. It gets very annoying very fast. Yes, it's in most series. It's in most series. And I don't like it in basically any of the series. You have to have a redeeming quality for me to look past that. I think it's just irritating. So Drit's question: Is it weird? Is it weird? Here's a weird question: Do you think Kuena is alive or dead? There is reason to believe that Kuena is alive, but since nothing has been brought up in Wano, which I think is a relevant arc in relation to that, because it's supposed. Well, that gets into my one of my criticisms of Wano, which was I think Oda completely dropped the concept he was clearly building up. Um, but it's possible that Kuena is alive. At this point, I think it'd be better if she was dead. Naruhina was garbage, but it didn't have to be. If things were just fixed from the pain arc onwards, it would have been a fine romance. Thank God Oda doesn't do that. Give it time. Give it time. I'm being serious. Give it time. If you don't think Oda is trying to build up just last minute romances, then I think the story is going in that direction. If I'm being honest. Yes, I saw Kawhi in that music video. That was hilarious. Naruto and Hinata doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. What? It doesn't make sense? I don't understand that. No. I think there were clear plot lines and I mean, like, if you read the story, then you know that there were multiple things that were indicative of romantic feelings from one side. It just wasn't reciprocated. Kishimoto just fucked up with the pain arc. How do you feel about the Hinata moment in the pain arc? I think Hinata's moment was great, but nothing happened as a result of it. Like that's what makes that retarded. Is that Kishimoto built up that moment with Hinata with pain, and then like he basically hit like Control Z. Like what the fuck? Dritz, is the Chimera Ant arc on the same level as any Berserk arc for you? No. Well, any Berserk arc. Let's see. Do I like? It's kind of weird because like Berserk is obviously my favorite. Yeah, I would rather read Black Swordsman than read Chimera Ant, to be honest. Does that make it better? No. But do I like it more? Yeah. Sea God is part of Fantasia, Glam. So would I rather read Fantasia than Chimera? Yeah, I would definitely rather read Fantasia than Chimera. Yeah, I still have not read Rhythm of War. Kaneki and Toka is a good romance. Yeah, it's a good romance. It is. Let's see here. Would I recommend Mistborn or Stormlight as your introduction to Sanderson's works? Hmm. It kind of depends on who you are as a person, Pretty. Uh, the Mistborn, the first trilogy of Mistborn, is easier to read because it's shorter. One Stormlight novel is the length of like the entire trilogy for Mistborn. It's very, very dense reading, and it can be easy to get lost in the sauce. Now, I think that Stormlight is definitely better than Mistborn. So it's kind of like do you want to start off with Peak? It's kind of weird. Because it's like the Stormlight Archive is Brandon's like, it's his MO. That's his legacy. But I still think Mistborn has like the best magic system out of all of his the books that I've read of his. I haven't read all of them. I went from Mistborn to the Stormlight Archive, and I liked that because like I started from Mistborn and it gave me a great appreciation for Brandon, and then I'm reading Stormlight, which is his best work. I think if you start with Stormlight and then go to Mistborn, if you're not being fair to the works, you might think of it as a downgrade, which is true, but it's not like a negative in a sense, where every book has to be better than the other. Five R's from Felipe again. Shouts to Felipe, the MVP. The finale of One Piece is going to reveal that every character in the entire series is alive and well. They all just had amnesia for this entire time. Yo, that's peak. I didn't understand shit, but watched it. LOL. It was in the Foxy arc. What about you, Dritz? Wait, what? You didn't understand it, but you watched it. It was in the Foxy arc. Are you asking Hassan for clarification whether or not I understood what was going on during the Foxy arc? But I think Nagato reviving everyone was a make conclusion to the Pain arc. A bit, yeah. I think there should have been some irreversible consequences. You can't just like quote unquote kill everyone and then undo it. It's very hard to make that satisfying. I'm not gonna lie. Is Chimera Ant overrated? I think it's a great arc. I don't know. It depends on what you rate it as. Do I think Chi Chi and Goku was good? Have not read Dragon Ball / Dragon Ball Z. Did I like the Sea God portion? Did I like it? It had a couple moments that I liked, but overall, I mean, I've said it before. I think that's easily the worst portion of Berserk. It's certified mid. What was this? What was this comment? Hold on. It's hearing you talk about Naruhina. Guess Kishimoto should have did what he was thinking about doing before his editors came in and said to do Naru Sakura. In response, Kishimoto did the Naruto reply in the Kage arc. Oh, yikes. Defecation of JoJo by Dritz. Sen ain't ready. Yo, if I have to do a defecation of JoJo, Sen would be in shambles. Have I read Ragna Crimson? No. I don't think so. It's not ringing a bell. Christian says, I wish I had some real critical eye on my work to see if my ideas are getting across. It's hard to write in a vacuum. That's actually true, Christian. Critical eyes are always needed. Not sure if that's a commentary on me, but I completely get what you're saying. It's hard to. That's why people need other people to check their work. You can overlook things if you're just focused in on your own ideas. Hi, Kako. Sakura drags the series down. Not really. Is it true that every female that reads One Piece ends up simping the guys or shipping the guys? I don't know. I say there. It depends on the type of woman you are. I don't know. Some people do. Some people don't. I don't know. When am I gonna start and finish Kubera? This is getting ridiculous, Kako. It's on the list. Listen, you know, I don't do content. All right. When I finish the One Piece videos, then I'll read stuff. All right. Then this will be a conversation, and then I will read Kubera. No, rather, my first time ever watching One Piece was in 2002 in a German channel called RTL, so it was German, didn't understand it. Oh, my first experience with One Piece? My first ever, do I even remember what that was? The first thing that's coming to mind was when my brother used to have a subscription to Shonen Jump so we could get Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And I remember seeing One Piece in there because I wanted to read Naruto. And I thought that the art style looked lame. Outside of that, that's it. That's my first memory of One Piece. That and getting a PS2 demo fighting game where I thought Kuro looked cool. Those are my earliest memories of One Piece. And then after that, I saw the like an episode of the Four Kids. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. And then I never touched it again until years and years later. Let me see. Let me look at these comments. Sen, you ain't writing nothing. Have I seen Bible Black? And if so, would you recommend it? Not as fat material. Worst moment in manga history is when Sakura said "I love you" to Naruto. The worst moment, it's not the worst moment. It's not a good moment, but like, it's not as if like the writing of it didn't quote unquote make sense. It's just that Kishimoto didn't do really a good job with it. So I think people overly shit on that moment when it comes to like Sakura's character. Like that's like the hallmark of her character. It's like we understand why she was saying that. It just came off as gay. Yo, what are you willing to do for that wrench, Grammy? I did. That's right, son. I didn't finish the My Girl manga. Yo, I totally forgot about that. Will I post this shit on my second channel? Sure. Why not? Well, no, Kako. I'm not. I don't want to read Kubera just because you're pulling my leg. I'm interested in it. I've heard you talk well about it. I've heard Naya. Well, I don't. I haven't actually seen Naya talk about it. I know he makes a lot of videos and he enjoys it, so that's got me interested. So I genuinely want to read it at some point in time. It's not just a pandering for you or whatever. Naya always capping. Ooh, that's big smoke. I'm gonna lean back in my chair here. Oh. The soccer moment was a big. What was this comment? That moment was Kishi saying a big no to his editors. Well, regardless of what the moment was, Shiro, it was not. He should have valued the story over commentary on his editors. Trying to write good female characters this arc, Christian. Why have you been writing good female characters the entire story, huh? You toxic male. Dritz, I'm sure you are the same age as I am. Did you play Red Alert 2 in Age of Empires or Empire Earth or Rome Total War back in the day? I did not have a computer until I was like in 10th grade or high school. So no, I did not play those games. I was too poor. I just had consoles. What are my favorite tropes and stories? Favorite tropes and stories. Oh god. Um hmm. I'd actually have to look them up. There are like 1.5 million tropes. Let me actually see if I can look some up. Tropes. Oh well, a trope that this isn't my favorite, but I'll just say like tropes that I like. I like gentle giant tropes. Am I a Dune fan? Never read it. Don't know. You find it amusing? I mean, I understand, Shiro. You have just a lot of them in this arc. Oh, okay, Christian. I'm just fucking around with you. I don't believe you though. How's my bromance with Draco? It is what we played yesterday. We played ball yesterday. Let me think of more tropes. Let me see. Generally speaking, I like the mentor trope. Most stories, there's a mentor, wise elder figure. Most of the time, I think it's hard to go wrong with that trope. Most of them hit. Um, Generally speaking, I like the coming of age stories. I also like sort of like the bad boy tropes that you'll often see where it's like some guy seems like a douche, but deep down he's got a heart of gold. I end up liking those tropes for the most part. Um does the pervert trope work for you with Jiraiya? Yes, I've talked before. Jiraiya is like the exception to the pervert trope because for me, it's not. It doesn't strictly define his character or contradict it in a manner. I think the positives of Jiraiya overshadow the negatives of the pervert trope. Um, uh, let's see. Oh, the child. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually one of my favorite tropes of all time. I'm surprised. Uh, Parent-child dynamic might be my one of my favorite, if not my favorite trope. Actually, I have a particularly huge weakness for that type of trope. Also, romance. I'm huge into romance, so uh, good romances are some of the best aspects of a story if you do them well. I think it's a great way to have an audience always be invested is if you do a good romance. The Dark Lord. The Dark Lord. I'm kind of iffy on Dark Lord tropes. I would not say they're my favorite. I think they can work well, but I don't know. I think for me, I prefer if like the big bad is someone that grows up alongside the story. Am I planning on reading other works from Kishimoto? I mean, it's not planned, but I'm not opposed to it. I'll say that. Yes, I like Bad Boys Glam. Meow. How's that Vagabond read through come along? Non-existent. Haven't started it. Have I read the Era 2 books for Mistborn? I've only read one book of the second era. That's it. I just haven't read more. It's not that I dropped it or didn't like it or anything. I don't even remember anything about the book, to be honest. I just never got. I didn't have the money to buy more books, so I didn't do it. What do I mean by parent-child dynamic? Where there's like a mother figure, father figure relationship between either an actual parent and child, or it's kind of like they come off as being family, or there's like a an older brother thing. Think like Guts and Jill from Berserk or something like that. Uh, Guts Shirka. Uh, what what Wano was kind of supposed to have between Luffy and Tama. Like a sort of parental older brother trope where there's someone looking after a child. I think those are some of the like if done well, those are excellent tropes. Batman and Ace. They work very well in my opinion. Like that's one of the best ideas you can have in terms of like executing it well. It comes off just perfectly most of the time. It's also a great way to utilize child characters because with children characters, naturally what they're able to do within the world is very limited because they're kids. So you have to make use of what kids offer in terms of writing. Like The Last of Us. The Last of Us is a great example. Last of Us Part 1. And whatever Part 2 is. I'm sure there's probably some of that in there as well. What's wrong with the thumbnail, Pirate King? Will I do a live stream for the next Berserk chapter? Yes, I will. I will be live reacting to it. One of my favorite tropes is the sin atonement. Yes, that's another one of my favorite tropes as well. Atoning for sins or redemption are often tropes that I find extremely enjoyable and emotional. It's one of the reasons why I think Endeavor works so well as a character. It's one of the reasons why he's one of the best characters around at this point in time. Just what about the hard work with the twist of you're actually the chosen one trope? How about you shut your mouth? Do you think you are moving on from Japanese things and moving on to something else? I don't know. Personally, have more webtoons I like than manga. That is certainly not. I think you've heard me say this before, Kako. I think that there aren't actually a whole lot of good webtoons out there. I think they're few and far in between because most of them kind of like start out good then turn to shit. I wouldn't say that I'm like moving from one medium to another because like I haven't really read a whole lot of like either, to be honest. Is the parent-child trope part of why you enjoy Marineford over Water 7? Well, I mean, both have it. It's just that Water 7 has it in a different way. Like, the parent-child trope is actually one of the reasons why I like and I think the emotional aspects of Robin and Nami's flashback comes so well. Is that I think that the parent-child trope works phenomenally in those flashbacks. I think it works a bit better with Nami's than it does Robin's, but Robin's is a bit more emotional. I've talked about it before, but there are certain things there that resonate with me. Robin and Olvia, great child parent trope and drama there, and the same thing with Bellamere and Nami. Works amazingly, and the same thing with Gen. Works phenomenally. How can one man read One Piece and see all of the flaws, and one man see all of the depth and explain their opinions with depth? It is just yin and yang, Eric. You already know. Do you think manga should be read in the same lens as high or classical literature? I mean, you can read it however you want to read it. It just depends on whether or not you're criticizing it or judging its value. I mean, it's the same thing with anything. You can read anything that you want, but you have to judge it fairly. Okay, thank you, Dritz. I agree 100%. I just thought you meant shit like Naruto and his parents, where the character is just reduced to boring, uninspired copies of his or her parents. No, 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 no. Not talking about that. Can we get a live reaction to the final chapter of One Piece? I mean, that's a long ways away, but I mean, sure. About to start Warbreaker. You read it? Yes, I Warbreaker's okay. I don't think Warbreaker is anything crazy. It's been a while since I've read it, but it's alright. It's alright. I don't think it's comparable to Mistborn or the Stormlight Archive, but it's a solid work, I think. Have I enjoyed One Piece at least a little bit these past couple weeks? Asked Pirate King. Well, like I basically haven't read the chapters, Pirate King, so nor have I been motivated to do so. The only reason I read the last chapter was so that I could talk to Silvers on a stream last week. So I can't say that I've enjoyed it. Let me get this. No. Zeph and Sanji works. Zeph and Sanji works. Just listen. Just because Sanji is my least favorite character in all of fiction, doesn't mean I don't think there are good aspects to Sanji. Sanji's initial working with Zeph and Barati is good. Barati is one of the best arcs in the series for me. I think Sanji is good in that arc. Zeph and Sanji work great. What's my favorite instrument? Piano. Also, Eric, don't think I didn't see you shit talking over there. You fucking memer. That's all you are now. Just a memer. All of fiction, that's cap. No, it is not cap. I was recently thinking, is there a character I dislike more than Sanji? And I could not think of any. None came to mind. He is my most disliked character in all of fiction. Doesn't mean he's the worst character in all of fiction. He is the one I dislike the most. I can't think of anyone that's even comparable to Sanji to me. It doesn't exist. Glenn, this is all part of me winning, man. I have defeated Eric. Only one left is Christian. Then I will have conquered the Aussies. There will be no more. This is unhealthy at this point. What's unhealthy, Christian? Yeah, you say that now, Christian. Playing hard to get. I like that. I like that. Keep fighting. It'll make it all the more better when I win. Thoughts on the raid failing? Never happening. It's not happening. I've talked to Morsh about this on numerous occasions. We just, he will go down with the ship. It's a very it's a very niche trope, but the disabled character trope. Oh, the disabled character trope is phenomenal. I'm also a big fan of that sen. They always make for emotional stories, and automatically it just makes the character more interesting, in my opinion. I 100% agree. 100% agree. Disabled tropes. Do I like the overuse of politics in epic fantasies? Well, I don't think you could like anything that's phrased in the terms of overuse, because overuse means that it's happening too much. Yeah, I don't think you should overdo anything, especially politics. Especially politics. Dritz is the abyss from Dark Souls, and you know what the abyss does, Christian? Gwyn couldn't stop the Age of Fire from ending. The Abyss will always come eventually. He's afraid of it. He's afraid of the Abyss. That's you, your Lord Gwyn. Sooner or later, I'll win. Eric is Artorias. He's already been claimed. Trips, I hope we see you often, man. Best regards to you. It's 12 midnight here. Wish you the best. Take care, bro, and hope to see you soon. Yo, shout outs to Hassan. That's my guy. He's got internet. Yo, thanks for being around, Hassan. See you, Shiro. What about the disabled character that's not actually disabled trope? Does that happen enough to be called a trope? It depends. I mean, I think that can work too. It's not something I think is inherently great, but it works. Have I watched The Dragon Prince? No, I have not. How would I feel if the raid actually failed? At this point, I can't even entertain the what if because I think it's literally impossible. I think that at this point in time, 116 chapters into the arc, the only feeling that the fandom could feel is just exhaustion. Just exhaustion. Dritz, do you and Brago have good shipping chemistry? Will you two be better than Naruhina? Me and Brago got some good chemistry. Definitely better than Naruhina, for sure. What's the best theory to come out of Wano to you? Has there even been one? Let's see. Oh, we'll do best in terms of what I think was like not what I like, but in terms of the best put together theory. I don't know what Ghost Piece is. I don't know if that's a Joy Boy thing, right? I don't know anything about that. I don't watch Joy Boy's videos. At this point, the best theories to have come out of Wano are Killer being Conjuro and the time traveling stuff with that Marco made a video on. Those are probably the best theories. I think. I haven't really watched that many, but those are the only ones that come to mind. Who is more disabled, Randy or Timmy? Who are these people? What the hell is Bill? What are you talking about? I swear to Monkey gets a lot of hate. Blah blah blah. Okubo explains why he's so flamboyant with the I agree with Glam. Just because you can explain it doesn't make it good. Who is the funniest guy in the BDA crew? The funniest person in BDA. It's got to be Brago or Quietly are the two people that come to mind immediately for the funniest. From South Park, Dritz. From South Park, Randy or Timmy? Oh, who's more disabled? Oh, okay. Randy Marsh or Timmy? That's gotta be Randy. You seen the latest reminder by Oda that the story is in its final stage? Yes, I saw. That, as I said, it's not the exact specifics of when the story is going to end. It's the intent. I've been trying to tell people this before. Intent matters. The fact that Oda keeps going out of his way to say it matters. That's important. There's this one YouTube guy I saw who reviews books and stuff says he thinks Oda belongs with the great fantasy writers such as J.R.R. Tolkien, Robert Jordan, Steven Erikson, and Brandon Sanderson. Do you agree? Well, I mean, I have not read Robert Jordan, I have not read Steven Erikson, I've read Brandon Sanderson. Tolkien, I mean, I haven't actually read the Lord of the Rings books. I've only watched the movies, so I guess I can't even comment on that. Oda belongs up there with them. I don't know why you're asking me. I don't know why you're asking me. Obviously, I don't agree with that. How come you don't leave the VODs up? I'm on and off with the VODs, Maverick. This one will be going up on the second channel. The past few I haven't because I forget why. I forget what happened, but I just decided that it wasn't worth it. He's talking about that Daniel Green clip I showed you, Dritz. Oh, that was from Dan. Oh, okay. Okay, that's making more sense now. All right, yeah. Bill, I'm just going to. I'm kind of missing the context because I don't watch Fire Force. People are sensitive to fan service when it doesn't come off as being natural. Fan service isn't a bad thing to have because like there are positives to having fan service. But just like with anything in life, the way that you use it can affect whether or not it's good or bad. Now, I have seen clips of some of the fan service with the muscly girl from Fire Force. I don't know what her name is. Whatever her name is, bitch number one. I don't know. Uh, but whenever you force fan service in unnatural ways consistently, it actually has a negative effect on the character because what you're promoting is less of the character and more of the sexuality of that character, which is reductionist. Bill, the fact that you have to say you act like virgins is like, what the fuck are you talking about, Bill? What is the main thing you dislike about Johan? He has no singular good character relationship in the entire story outside of some random kid. What are some examples of fan service done right? Let me think. So example, like this makes sense within the world. Let's go back to Whole Cake Island. You remember Nami's bath scene with Carrot and that one bitch's name? Chiffon? Chiffon, right? In the story, that makes sense that, the girls are taking a bath together, right? That's not like outside of the logic of what people need to do in order to show fan service. And it's not taking away from their characters in any way, shape, or form. Like that feels more natural. That's an example of solid fan service, I would say. Like good fan service is when it feels natural, and like typically like character driven fan service, Christian, it's like, yeah, character driven can make sense, but that doesn't mean that it's always good if it's character driven. It's the way that you execute and handle it. It's like if a character has a power that makes them go naked all the time, that doesn't mean it's like good fan service, right? That's kind of just like promoting them as a sex symbol instead of a character. You want situations to arise normally that make the character stand out and promote their sex appeal. You don't want it to be over the top. You want it to be tasteful. You want there to be some tact to it. In contrast to the bath scene at Wano, which was written at like a piece of shit, and it also reduces the characters involved. Yes. Just as indeed a tsundere. I don't know about that. Sexual themes not a power. Well, sexual themes. Well, if you have a character that's like, sexual, then yeah, it makes more sense to do it then. Yeah. Not a power. But like, you know what I'm talking about, Christian. It's like, these sad excuses to show boobage. Oh, we all are, Miriam. We all are. Yo, Gavin, I will ban you. Don't think I won't. I don't give a shit. Pillow, you getting banned too. Action scenes can sometimes be fan service. Yeah, action scenes can be fan service as well. It's on demon time. No, I'm on me time, man. I'm on me time. the difference. That Johan slander hitting. Slander him more. Can we consider Kaido currently being nerfed? Nerfed? I don't think so. Yeah, that's how it is, Ahmed. That's how it is. Yeah, that's how it is. But anyway, guys, chat slowed down and died. So I will go ahead and end the stream here. We got a solid almost 3 hours in. Thanks for everyone for joining in. This will go up on the backup channel at some point in time, probably tomorrow, maybe. We'll see if I can get it done before I go to work tonight. But yeah,